welcome to Special Stage and welcome to our coverage of the Carlisle Stages Rally, a round of the RAC Rally Championship. Let's have a look at who's in the hunt today. So Phil Burton leads the cruiserweight and he's followed by James Potter, fresh from his good result on the Severn Valley just 2 weeks ago. Tim Mason, Jeremy Eason and Gary Cooper all bring a bit of variety to the entry list this weekend. So that's who you've got to keep your eyes on. We've got the variety you'd expect from the RAC Championship and we've got the action for you right now on Special Stage. On to the first couple of stages of the day then, and just over 11 miles for the cruise. It will be an early lead over those 11 miles for Phil Burton and Mal Capstick, finding the stages slippery, but no more than everyone else would. They start the day with a 9-second lead. Phil, if in doubt, flat out, Colin McRae on your door. Are you doing that?
Well, we're trying, but it's very slippy to say it's dry. Can't keep it in a straight line. Can't believe how slippy it is. Rain, please.
We like it when it's not in a straight line.
God, it's hard work.
How's the fight?
All right, yeah. We're doing all right.
Tim Mason and Graham Wild were not happy with their commitment over the morning stages, retiring after their accident up here on the Pirelli a few weeks before, but second place was telling a different story today. Tim, you happy in there?
Yeah, it was all right. We could just do with a little bit more commitment, really. It's quite marbly, so we'll just...
You're quite committed through the finish.
Yeah, well, we'd had a bit of a moment about 100 yards before there, so I thought we'll try and keep it in a straight line if we can.
Oh, well, good luck for the rest.
Cheers, mate.
A long journey north was paying off so far for Lee and Chris Armstrong. They end this loop third, with just the unexpected heat to contend with on the stages. Well, good stages for it.
It's hot in there, I'm not used to it. It's been too long since I've been in the car.
Well, it's going well there so far. The times look good.
Do they? Yeah. We'll keep going.
Barry Stevenson Wheeler and John Pickervance seem to be getting a good rhythm in the opening stages. They end the loop in fourth, just 9 seconds back from Armstrong ahead. Slippery out there, Baz?
Yeah, very slippery. Just if you get offline, it's kind of sucking you in. But good, nice stages have got a better flow than I thought, so enjoying that.
So you're fighting for positions or fighting to stay on the road?
A bit of both, really. But I just want to smack in a couple of good times because if Potter gets away from us, we're not clawing back. So
I like how you worded that. Good luck. And it will be closer still for James Potter and Bob Duck, just 2 seconds separating them from the crew ahead. But they will be doing their best to preserve the tyres this weekend. How's it going out there?
Yeah, it's good. Enjoying it. Yes, just about to change the rear tyres to try and keep tyre wear down to minimum because I'm only allowed 6 tyres in total, but yeah, trying to push on.
Just like many others, Jeremy Eason and Mike Reynolds were finding the conditions a bit trickier than expected, but things were going well for the Datsun pair, leading the way in their class. Jeremy, 2 stages down, are you happy?
I am, yeah. I'm a bit hot, but I'm happy. It's good. Very good. It's good, slippery as we expected, but yeah, it's good, fast.
It's technical.
Yeah, that was. The first one was just a bit straight, but that was good. That's what we're here for. Thank you very much.
The gap would be a little bigger to 7th place Bob Bean and Malcolm Smithson, but only 20 seconds still. The pair felt some improvement could be made over the rest of the day's stages, and we were looking forward to seeing them do just that. Bob, I grew up watching you in your Mark 1 Lotus Cortina. How does this compare here in Carlisle?
Well, it's a little bit quicker. I have to think a little bit faster, which is gets a bit of a chore when you're getting older.
Well, you seem to do a pretty good job of it.
Oh, well, thank you.
2 stages down, how's it going?
Yeah, it's going okay. Yeah. Few little bits, but we'll get better as the day goes.
Iconic stage. A spin on stage 2 wouldn't help Graham Standen and Jane Edgington with their times. Thankfully, though, they still lead the H1 class from their 8th place overall. Graham, I'm a fan of unarched escorts, but how's it going here?
It's going all right, yeah. We've had a spin on that one, but it's going all right apart from that. Fast.
The class lead, though, would be in doubt, with Stuart and Linda Carris only 2 seconds behind Standen and pushing the car well over these stages.
Yeah, I'm happy, but my God, it's slippy. I thought we had a puncture on first stage, and likewise there, it seems to be rolling on the stones. But yeah, it's had me working. it.
Well, that's a good thing.
Well, I suppose it is, but I like a nice safe margin. And we were just getting a bit closer in one or two places.
Hopefully in front of our cameras. Good luck for the next few.
Cheers, thank you.
And rounding out the top 10 with Tony Gins and Ben Giles. Back after crashing the car 14 months previous, so seat time would be as important as a result this weekend. And Mark, when escorting these classic stages must look pretty good out there.
Well, it's different. I haven't been here for quite a long time, but no.
It's the championship.
Well, it's my first run since April 2014, so yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's dusty, but it's going away, which is good, and it's dry, so it makes driving a bit easier if it's not wet and slippy, doesn't it? To be frank, you know.
Good luck for the next few.
And the other thing, running lower down the field, you get some nice lines. If it doesn't rut, you get the nice lines. You run at the front of the field, and some of these ditches might come upon you before.
Just don't follow the lines where people went through the rock.
No, well, I've seen it. All right, thank you.
Just outside the top 10, it would be 11th place for Malcolm Bayliss and Siobhan Pugh at this stage of the rally, just behind the battle for the H1 class going on ahead of them. Problems for Matthew Honeybourne and James Curtis mean that this would be the last we'd see of them. 12th place at the finish of the stage, but with a very sick engine. It would be 13th overall for Mark Bolton and Mike Curry. Sadly, some way behind the class leader Eason in the Datsun up heading 6th. And fuel problems will be enough to drop Aziz Tapar and Alistair Cook down to the final places. A disappointing start for the pair. And worse luck still for Gary Cooper and John Riley. They roll the new car into a ditch on its second outing. You're watching special stage in our coverage of the Carlisle Stages Rally, a round of the RAC Rally Championship. Here's a look at the results so far. So at the end of stage 2, it's Phil Burton that has the lead, but with Tim Mason and plenty of others breathing down his neck. On to the next few stages, just over 17 miles, including 8 through Newcastleton. A bit of drama for leader Phil Burton, with Mal Capstick alongside in this loop of stages. Not that they would know though, the suspension breaking on the rear of the car, but luckily not losing the pair any time, or more crucially, the lead. Phil, you've been having a good day so far, since we last spoke to you. Any dramas?
No, the only drama I've had, being so rough in there, the Riga suspension cans fell off and was wrapped round the back wheel after 4. And other guys has told me, otherwise I wouldn't have known. We've done a quick temp repair on the roadside and it's held, so we're still here.
Lee and Chris Armstrong move up the results a little in this loop. Second place for now and just 17 seconds behind Burton for the lead, with one stage remaining. No problems for Tim Mason and Graham Wild. Sadly, their pace wasn't enough to hold on to that second place they started today with, but there would only be 4 seconds between them and that second position going into the final stage of the day. Tim, one left, still fighting?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure where we are. We were second in the historics after the first run. I think everything seemed to go all right in those last 2, so fingers crossed we're still in a fairly good position.
Nice long one to go as well.
Yeah, I like long stages, so been through Kershope many times, so should be all right. Should be fun.
Cheers.
Thanks a lot, mate.
Slight improvement over these stages for James Potter and Bob Duck. They move up to take 4th now and 3rd in the H3 class. Going into the final stage of the day then, it's a long one. How's your day been overall?
Overall, so far, I've thoroughly enjoyed it. A bit rough in places, but you expect it occasionally. So yeah, enjoyed the day very much.
Happy with times and places on leaderboards?
Never happy with times. Like to be quicker, but you know, I'll never keep up with Phil Burton in his car. So I'm just trying to keep up with the rest and enjoy myself and look forward to the last stage.
Enjoy it.
Thank you.
Barry Stevenson-Wheeler and John Pickervance would unfortunately lose their 4th place to Potter. It was close going into the final stage though, with just 3 seconds separating the 2 cars. So a push would be on both counts. One more stage left. What's your plan?
Attack.
We like those.
Well, we don't have a choice. We're 3 seconds between us and James. We don't have a choice, do we? We're just got to go for it. We were going for it in the last 2. To be fair, we took 3 off him. He took 3 off us. So it's just more of the same, and we can't do any other, can we?
We're looking forward to it. See you there.
Us too.
No change for Jeremy Eason and Mike Reynolds in 6th. The pair get a slow puncture in this loop, but luckily it didn't cost them much time. They have a relatively comfortable gap either side of them going into the final stage of the rally.
Jeremy, you've got one last stage to really get in the rhythm here.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it. It's the longest one of the event. I just hope it's not as narrow and with all that grass up the middle as last one was, because it was a bit too tight for the old Datsun in there.
Graham Standen and Jane Edgington gain a place in this loop up into 7th, but they would have to watch out in the final long stage of the day with only a 2-second advantage in that place. They couldn't afford any mistakes or to back off.
Given your day, are you happy going into this final stage?
Yes, yeah, we're happy with this, yeah. Yeah, we've got a good day, I think.
What's the plan then? Keep it together, or are you pushing?
Keep it on the island and get to the finish. You need the points.
Good luck, good luck.
And chasing down Standen, responsible for that pressure, would be Bob Bean and Malcolm Smithson. Just 2 seconds between them going into the final stage for that 7th overall finish. For Stuart and Linda Carris, it will be 9th, looking unlikely that they change their class position, 50 seconds behind Standen ahead for that. And rounding out the top 10 was still Tony Gins and Ben Giles, still settling in on their return to the stages, but now with a steady pace. So with just one stage remaining here in Carlisle, Phil Burton holds on to the lead, and he looks safe there for the final stage if he can get through without any problems. On to the final stages then here at the Carlisle Stages, and the longest of the day at just over 13 miles. An ignition problem for Aziz Tapar and Alistair Cook meant a 13th place finish for the pair. A bad day, but a finish nonetheless. It would be 4th in class and 12th on the leaderboard for Malcolm Bayliss and Siobhan Pugh in the popular H1 class this weekend. And Mark Bolton and Mike Curry finished just outside the top 10 in 11th overall, taking 2nd in the H2 class here at round 5. Tony Gins and Ben Giles continue to round out the top 10. A finish was priority this weekend and they achieved that no problem, taking 3rd in the H1 class as they do so. Second in that H1 class was Stuart and Linda Carris. They'd kept the class battle going all day long, but miss out by just over half a minute by the end of the rally. Bob Bean and Malcolm Smithson are unable to gain any more time through this final stage, settling for an 8th place finish, which of course would be welcomed given the attrition rate this weekend. And for Graham Standen and Jane Edgington, it would be the H1 class victory here in Carlisle. A good lead in that class by the finish and taking 7th overall with it. Jeremy Eason and Mike Reynolds have a good steady run over the final stage of the day to remain in that 6th place that they'd held all day. And of course, they take the H2 class victory in that Datsun. The close battle for 4th and 5th wouldn't change through the final stage. Barry Stevenson Wheeler and John Pickervance having to settle for that 5th position. Despite a push, there would be no change at all on the times. The difference still being 3 seconds by the end of the event, with James Potter and Bob Duck making a big push in the final stage to make sure they hang on to that 4th overall and 3rd in the H3 class. Tim Mason and Graham Wild also wouldn't be able to make any advance of the results in the final stage. They remain in 3rd, but it was close, just 5 seconds between them and the runner-up position. And after taking that runner-up 2nd place earlier in the day, it would be Lee and Chris Armstrong keeping hold of it to the finish to take the H3 class victory and 2nd overall here in Carlisle. But taking victory here at round 5 after a good weekend's rallying would be Phil Burton and Mal Capstick. The suspension repaired in service, ready for the final stage. They take the win by 42 seconds after a great team effort. So a reminder then of the results at the end of the DMAC Carlisle Stages Rally. Outside of the RAC Championship, it would be a well-deserved historic victory here this weekend for Marion Evans, taking the win by over a minute from Mark Bentley. And of course, in the main event, it would be the victory for Dave Weston and Kirsty Riddick. And you can catch coverage of the REIS Ravenol BTRDA Championship part of this rally on our TV show on Motors TV on the 26th of June. Keep an eye on our social media for more details in the lead up to the show.
Well, the top spot here in the RAC Rally Championship at the Carlisle Stages never looked like being any different to this. Thanks for joining us on Special Stage. We'll see you soon.